Hello 9th standard students. This is the second revision video lesson on circle. Hope you all have gone through the important concepts that was dealt in exercise 10.1, which was done in the previous online video class. Here I'll be taking you through some important concepts that you need to know from this exercise 10.5. So let us understand what are these concepts, what are these terminologies, what are these properties that you need to know before solving questions from exercise 10.5. First and foremost, angle in a semicircle is a right angle. In this exercise 10.5, these are the four important properties, important concepts that you need to remember. Second one is angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. Opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary, and then angle subtended by an arc at the center is double the angle subtended by the same arc at any other point on the remaining part of the circle. So exercise 10.5 is based on these four properties. Students, for your forthcoming periodic test, you have the chapter circle. From that, 10.1 and 10.5. I once again repeat, you will not get questions based on exercise 10.2, 10.3 and 10.4. Neither will you get any theorems to write, and questions which are pertaining to proofs will also not be asked. Now let us look at these important concepts one by one. Now I want you to remember this property that if AB is the diameter of the circle, then this entire region becomes a semicircle. And AB is the chord of the circle. The chord of the circle is dividing the circle into two equal parts because this chord is the diameter. Now, this angle D, angle E, angle F, each and every angle will be 90 degree because the property is angles in a semicircle is a right angle. So if you come across any angle on the semicircle, then the measure of that angle will be 90 degree. Similarly, if I get angles drawn here below, then the measure of that angle will also be 90 degree. The clue is it should be lying on a semicircle, or the diameter should be forming that angle. Then each and every angle out here will be 90 degrees. Now this is another important property from exercise 10.5. Angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. If you have seen the previous online video, you will know what is the meaning of segment of a circle. It is the chord of a circle that divides the circle into two parts, into two regions. This region in white is the major segment, and this region in yellow is the minor segment. So segment doesn't mean line segment, it means this region. Now, the property is angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. So let us look at this chord MN. I have taken one angle out here, that is angle A. Similarly, there is another angle B. And how are these angles formed? By the starting point out here M and the ending point of that chord N. Are these two angles lying on this segment? Yes. So these two angles will be congruent. They will be equal because angle A and angle B are lying in the same segment of a circle. So this property is very important. You could get MCQ questions based on this, wherein a chord could be given and one of the angle would be given, and you may be asked to find out the other angle in the same segment of the circle. So you know that angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. This is a very, very important property. Please go through it. Now, in this figure, it is mentioned that BC is the chord, and you have to find out the measure of angle BDC. Students, by looking at the diagram, you should be able to say which property to apply. So how do you go about doing that? Look for the chord BC. Since BC is the chord, look for angles in the same segment. So which are the two segments? This region below BC is one segment, and this entire region above BC is another segment. So look for angles in the same segment. So which are the two angles? Angle A and angle D. So you know that angle A will be equal to angle D because angles in the same segment are equal. Now, you have to calculate this angle. Look at triangle BAC. In this triangle BAC, B is 69, angle ACB is 31. So measure of angle BAC will be 80 degree. You can draw this triangle separately and find out the answer. It will be easier to do it that way. So you get this angle as 80 degree. Now if angle A is 80, which is the other angle in the same segment? Angle D. So angle D will also be 80. Now students, if you are confused as to how to find which are the angles in the same segment, the clue is look for the chord, and from the start of the chord and the end of the chord, look for angles formed on this part of the circle. So you will get the angles lying on the segment of a circle. So please pay attention to this problem. You could get similar type of questions for your periodic exam. Now let us look at another problem. Again, the same property. Angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. By now you should be knowing this property. Question number 5 of exercise 10.5. Now look at the figure. The first thing that you have to see is which is the chord here. Here you no doubt you have many chords, but look at chord BC. So BC is the chord, and what was the hint that I gave you? Starting letter B, ending letter C. Are there any angles formed on this region, on this segment? Yes. Angle BAC and angle CDA. So that means this angle A and this angle D both will be equal. They've asked you to find out the measure of angle BAC. So there are different ways of doing it. If this angle is 130 degree, then the measure of this angle will be 50 degree because they form a linear pair. So this angle where you see the cursor, it is 50 degree. Now if this angle is 50, look at triangle EDC. In this triangle EDC, 50 plus 20 plus what will give you 180 degree? So the answer of that angle D is 110. So if the measure of angle D is 110, measure angle A will also be 110 because these two angles are angles in the same segment of a circle. So again, this is an important question, question number 5 from 10.5. Students, this property is very, very important, that angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. And the property that we did before this, angle in a semicircle is a right angle. Let us look at another property. Opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. So this is a cyclic quadrilateral ABCD, and in this cyclic quadrilateral, angle B plus angle D will be 180 and angle A plus angle C will be 180. So you could get questions on cyclic quadrilateral wherein they could give you one angle A and they may ask you to find out the opposite angle. Or they can give you angle B and they may ask you to find out measure angle D. All you have to do is whichever angle is given, suppose B is given as 120, then D will be 180 minus 120. So you just have to use the property that opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Now this is an example that I have given. The measures of these angles are not given. You have to find out the measure of each and every angle. Use the property of a cyclic quadrilateral. 2y plus 4 plus 4y minus 4, the total is 180. So this plus this is 180. So you get the value of y, you get the value of y as 30 degree. Okay. Now, if you have the value of y as 30, can you find out what is measure angle A? 2 into 30 plus 4. That is 60 plus 4. So you get the measure of angle A as 64. Now, if you get A as 64, what will be C? C will be 180 minus 64. Similarly, B plus D is 180. So 6x minus 4 plus 7x plus 2 is 180. Add them, you will get the value of x. So these are some of the multiple choice questions that I want you to practice from exercise 10.5. Students, please make a note of it. I hope you're writing down or you're trying to solve it on your own. Now, MP is the diameter of the circle because O is the center. So when you see the diameter of the circle, this angle MNP is lying on the semicircle. So what its value is? 90 degree. Because angle in a semicircle is a right angle. Okay, so you could get such MCQ type questions in your periodic test. Now here, this is where I was talking about in terms of x. Now Q is 3x and S, the opposite angle is 2x. They've only asked you to find the value of x. Okay, so in this case, how do you find the value of x? 3x plus 2x is 180, 5x is 180, so x is 36 degrees. So the answer is 36 degree. Now think about the property or concept that you can use in this. This is again a cyclic quadrilateral. So if measure angle B is 115, what will be measure angle D? It will be 65 degree because 180 minus 115 is 65. Now here DCB is 70. The whole thing is 70. And this angle is 60. They've asked you to find out the measure of angle A. I've put this in green so that you could understand it better. Now, if this angle is 70 and this is 60, let us look at triangle DBC, the triangle in red. 60 plus 70 is 130. 130 plus 50 will give you 180. So the sum of the three angles of this triangle total is 180. We got this as 50. If angle B is 50, what will be angle A? Angle A will also be 50 because they are the two angles lying on the same segment of the circle. So for same segment of the circle, look at the chord, starting letter D, ending letter C, and they are forming angle on the circle. So you use the property angle in the same segment of a circle are equal. And this is the first question from 10.5. They've asked you to find out the measure of angle D. So how would you do this? AOC is the angle at the center. So it is a central angle. The entire measure is 90 degree. The central angle is double the angle subtended by the same arc at anywhere else on the circle. So measure angle ADC will be 45 degree. Okay. So this is the property. You don't have to memorize this theorem. Just have to remember that the angle at the center, that is AOC, is double this angle ADC. Again, look for this arc ABC. This arc ABC is forming two angles. Starting letter A, ending letter C, one angle here, O, which is at the center, and the another angle ADC. So angle here in the center, you notice that it is bigger. So this is 90. So obviously this angle which is smaller, which is narrowing down, will be smaller, and it is 45 degrees. So students, with this we have completed. So with this we have revised important concepts from exercise 10.5. Four important properties. Angle in a semicircle is a right angle. Angle in the same segment of the circle are equal. Opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. And this is the fourth theorem. You just have to solve questions based on these properties. I want you to revise these concepts once again. In the next online video, I'll give you a few more questions based on MCQ, and then we will move to coordinate geometry. Until then, goodbye and thank you.